Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, um, right off the bat, just remember to like and subscribe, okay, to my channel. It really helps. It helps everybody try to, you know, learn astrology like they want to. It really helps keep the channel going, okay? Also, leave a comment below about what you guys think about this whole thing, okay? Today we're going to talk about Britney Spears, okay? Now, she's been in the news off and on throughout the years and stuff like that. But specifically, what we're going to talk about today is mental illness, okay? Now, as you know, this is a touchy subject, okay? A lot of people don't like to talk about mental illness. I do, all right? Because listen, we all have our virtues and vices. Celebrities are no different. They have their virtues and vices. Um, there are a lot of celebrities that do have mental illness, okay? So just keep that in mind. It is not their fault, okay? They were designed like this. They were designed like that. They were designed to have mental illness, okay? The day they were born, the planetary alignments allow for that mental illness to manifest. All right. So it's not their fault. So just kind of, bear with them. That's what you have to do. That's how we do Britney Spears. Now, does Britney Spears have mental illness? Yes. All right. The answer is yes. Now, they don't want to announce that. They don't want to make it public, and we get it. We know why they don't want to make it public because hey, that can hurt sales, that can hurt record sales, that can hurt all types of money that she can have from promotions and things like that. Okay, so they don't want to announce and just stamp, hey, she has mental illness, but it's certain things that let us know that they do that she does have mental illness, and a lot of people have undiagnosed mental illness. Okay, which means they have not gone to the doctor yet. They haven't gone to a psychiatrist yet. They haven't gone anywhere to get a proper diagnosis, basically. Okay, but the way they act, the way they carry themselves, the way they behave, it's indicative of mental illness. Now, what we're going to do today, we're going to go over a couple of things that creates that mental illness in the natal chart, okay? Because, like I said, they were designed like this, with their planetary alignments when they were born on their birthday, okay, and their birth time. So you have to, be cognizant of that. That is not their fault, all right? So just bear with them, work with them. Don't get upset at them. Don't, this is just how they were designed. Um, like I said, we're looking at Britney Spears. She was born December 2nd, 1981. The public got, they have her birth time at 1:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, okay? So, if you got any program, you can pull it up. But we're going to go over some of the things that creates her mental illness, because there are a lot of red flags. There are a lot of planetary alignments that create mental illness. So not all planetary alignments are the same, because people are not the same. They are different. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different planetary alignment. Britney Spears is no different. She has a different planetary alignment than another celebrity with mental illness, okay? So what creates the mental illness, that Britney Spears has, is not going to be the same planetary alignments for the mental illness created in another celebrity. Okay, so just to clarify that. So once I start pointing these planetary alignments out, you will get the idea like, oh, okay, this person, they got the same thing. No, that's not true. Okay, so but if you're a seasoned astrologer like me, or you're a student of the craft, you're going to pick up different things as years go on. And like I say, this take years to perfect and years to understand. Okay, so it's not like a memorization thing or a one-time thing. This is just from me having hundreds and hundreds of clients. Okay, so that's where it comes from. So the first thing you want to get to is some of the planets. Okay, what planets causes what might cause mental illness. Well, first of all, we got to figure out what planet is mental, right? All right. So what's the mental planet? Well, let's just, this is a teachable moment, right? So let's just kind of go over what that is, right? So Mercury is a neutral planet, right? All right. It's how we reason, it's how we think, it's how we communicate, okay? It represents communication, writing, thought, language, and movement. All right. So that's a mental planet. All right. Of course, we got our mental signs. All right. But in her case, now we're going to point this out. Now you probably can't see it either. Okay. Due to this program that I have here. So Mercury, she has Mercury in Sagittarius right here. All right. Right here. Now, what houses are mental? Okay, the third house is a mental house. Yes, it is. It's the first mental house, of course, right? As a house of kind of Gemini, respectively, right? So she has a stellium in the third house. So let's just point that out right now. That huge stellium. And let me just explain what's in that stellium. You got Uranus, okay? You got Uranus in Sagittarius at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. We're going to get to that. We got the asteroid Vesta there. We have Juno there in Sag. And of course, we got Mercury at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, like we just talked about. We also have Lilith at 7 degrees of Sag, which I talked about Lilith in some other videos with some other celebrities. But we're going to go over that planet as well. I'm going to try not to make this video too long, but we're going to point out some stuff. And now her sun is in Sag, okay? Sun is at 10 degrees of Sag. Of course, we got Vulcan right by. And we got Neptune in Sag. So she has a nice stellium in the third house. So she's all mental. Man, she thinks and thinks, right? Now, good thing is she doesn't have any planets. She doesn't have any planets retrograde. She doesn't have Mercury retrograde. That's a good thing, right? Now, let me tell you something. If she had planet Mercury retrograde, things would be a lot worse, okay? Now, we'll say this. Now, Mercury is at 5 degrees of Sag. Mercury is in its detriment in Sagittarius, okay? So it's not in a good place, but, it's there, but it's not in a good place, okay? It's in its detriment. So it's, Mercury is very detrimental in Sagittarius, okay? It's at 5 degrees of Sag. So that's where she is. So that's an indicator right there. So you can count that as one thing, right? All right. So we got one thing that's making things kind of crazy with that, right? Now the other thing, we're gonna go to the houses. All right. Now I'm sure you can see this. All right. That's 0 degrees of Sagittarius. That's her house cuss. 0 degrees of Sagittarius in 55 minutes. All right. On her third house cuss. All right. Now, as you know, and I spoke about this in other videos as well, and I'm going to repeat this so you guys can get it in your head. 0 degrees, 29 degrees, 0 degrees, they are critical degrees, okay? An angle or a planet in either of these degrees operates at a disadvantage. The person or the subject matter is either premature or too late. Okay, does that make sense? Because it's at 0, right? So it hasn't learned anything. It's like at 0. That's the point of nothing, right? So mentally, that she was born like this. So mentally, just started out. Her mental capacity is all not there. Okay, so mentally, she's not all there. She doesn't have enough degrees to be there, okay? Now, Uranus is at 0 degrees. So not only does she have an angle at a critical degree, she also has a planet within that third house by the cusp. So that's three things already, right? Um, that's at a critical degree. Not only is Uranus at a critical degree, okay, at 0 degrees, but as you know, Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. So here we go again with the mental, all right? The mental instability. She's operating at a disadvantage mentally already. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Also, Uranus, this is another thing. So, this is the fourth thing. Uranus is in its fall in Sagittarius. Of course, there's a debate going on if Uranus is in its fall in Sag, but yes, it is. Okay. So, the planet is extremely debilitated. Okay. So, you got a higher octave of Venus, of Mercury, all right, which is a mental planet. So Uranus is a higher octave, which means it's on a higher level than Mercury, but it's debilitated. And then you got Mercury that's also debilitated in its detriment in what? The third house, okay, which is a mental house. The third house cusp is debilitated because it's operating at a disadvantage at 0 degrees. So, keep this in mind, all right, as we keep going. All right. So already she's operating at a mental disadvantage just off from the rip. Okay. Now, this is not affecting her dancing, her singing. It's not affecting that. It's just affecting how she behaves on a personal level. Okay. That's what it affects. All right. Um, now, like I said, we're not going to go so deep into it, but I just want to let you guys know what created the mental instability. It's so many things that created that. I mean, just off the rip, she got Neptune. Okay, so Neptune is in the third house. And look, Neptune it creates a very cloudy mind. Okay, especially in the third house. It daydreams quickly. Now, unfortunately, is squaring Mars in the 12th house. Okay. Now, of course, the 12th house is it's a very weak house. Mars is in Virgo, which is a semi-mental. Yeah, it is a mental because Mercury is, has the rulership over Virgo. Okay. Mercury has a rulership over Virgo. So that's mental in itself, right? And it's squaring Neptune. So she has some, very, it can be delusional, very delusional because Neptune rules illusions. But coupled with Mars, you can have episodes, okay, violent episodes, schizo episodes, very mental and also physical episodes from the mental. Okay. So there's a breakdown going on. All right. There's always been a breakdown going on with her mentally. All right. So now just think about all this. Okay. So the conservatorship occurred in February 1st, 2008. Now, what led up to that? What created a situation where she had to get that conservatorship added with her? Somebody had to kind of take over things because she was so mentally unstable. Well, I can tell you what, she had an eclipse occur. Now, eclipses are very strong. Okay, they're very good predictive tools, and I use them all the time to predict different things, especially in people's chart. So she had the first eclipse occurred at 28 degrees of Pisces on March 19th, 2007. So that's occurring in her sixth house, which is a health house. Okay, so that's gonna hit what? That's gonna hit. It's a separating aspect, but it's hitting her Neptune in the third house. That eclipse did. It hit it right in the third house. Okay. So that's a mental breakdown right there. Also, it was in opposition of her natal Mars right there. So You got, you had a T square going on, okay, with Neptune in the third house, which is a mental house. Okay, so it was a mental breakdown, mental illness. Um, Now, of course, as we know, eclipses, when sometimes they hit direct, sometimes they're absolute, which means at the same degree as another natal planet. But in this case, it did hit her. It hit her. It hit her, not directly, but it hit her indirectly. But the next solar eclipse did hit her directly. Okay, so on September 11, 2007, that same year, so she got hit twice. Okay, so that's what created the conservatorship. That's what created that whole situation for it to happen, because she got hit with two solar eclipses. With her mental, with that stellium in the third house, which is a mental house. All right. That second solar eclipse occurred September 11, 2007 at 18 degrees of Virgo. So that was in her 12th house. Okay. So that means, what, the 12th house rules what? Institutions. Okay. So yes, she had to go to an institution. She had to go see a doctor for her mentality. And with that, it was a very, detrimental thing. Okay. Especially in the 12th house. It's escapism, institutions, hospitalizations, and this affected that stellium. It affected her sun at 10 degrees. It was separating aspect, but it still affected it. And again, it hit that Neptune in the third house, that delusion, that illusion. So this what created the conservatorship. Okay. Now, as you know, solar eclipses, they last, the energy lasts for up to 3 years. Okay. So what happened, we had another solar eclipse in 2010. All right. At 19 degrees of Cancer. This occurred in her 10th house. Now, what this did is silenced her. She, kind of wanted to go out of the limelight because it squared Saturn at 19 degrees. So this was absolute. It was a direct hit. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Does the conservatorship need to come back? Hey, you choose. Okay. Now, in my opinion, yes. Okay, she really needs people to help her. She needs her family to help her. Okay, I know you guys think, oh, they just trying to just take away her freedom and take away her ability to manage herself. With her mental illness, she does need her family there to manage her. Okay, I can tell you that right now. Just looking at a chart, it's off the chain. She's gonna have more episodes in the future. Okay, I'm not gonna point them out, but I'm letting you guys know that conservatorship is not all that bad. Okay, especially with her condition, it's not bad. You need to take that into account. Everybody needs to take that into account, that they're looking at this in a negative light. But if you just kind of turn it around and look at some of the good things that can come out of it, then you'll realize why her family was trying to do what they were doing. It wasn't about money. It was really about her well-being. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But this is the reason she's acting the way she's acting. She can't help it. This is how she was designed. It's her planetary alignments that create the situations for her to have the mental illness that she has. Okay. Now, as far as her relationships, but we're not going to get into that on this video. We'll probably loop back around and take a look at her relationships and how the mental illness has affected her relationships. So, but for right now, this is the reason that she had that conservatorship put on her in February 1st, 2008. Okay. And this is probably one of the reasons that it may or may not, get put on there again. I mean, you guys choose. You let me know in the comment section whether you think she should have that conservatorship put back on, or whether, hey, they should just leave it off and let her behave as she behaves right now without any challenges from anyone. All right. So um again, like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and let me know, and we'll jump back on this later. Thanks.